And a good Monday, everybody. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Hope you're having an awesome start to your week as Christmas is near. And unfortunately, it did not come early for the Titans. They are officially eliminated from postseason play after their loss in overtime yesterday to the Houston Texans. And Joe, I made the decision. I went to the game. That's 3.5 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Oh, was it 3.5? It seemed like 9 watching it on television yesterday. But hey, it was. I'm still trying to process what I saw because there's really no way.
Why would you do that to
Titans
yourself?
should have lost that game yesterday, and then they lost the game. And we've seen some crazy things in Nissan Stadium throughout the years, and that ranks up there. It just a Texans team that was just so missing some of their best players and just never quit going. I mean, they just quit. They didn't quit the entire game, and it was just, I don't know, man. That kind of summed up the entire season right there. And now you got 3 left, and what do you do from these last 3? Just go out and just play games, and it's just they got themselves in a weird dynamic now.
Yeah, I like how you do that now.
Yeah.
They do, and Derrick Henry, 16 carries, 9 yards yesterday. I mean, the offensive line was atrocious. I mean, obviously you're going to put some of that on Henry, but and I didn't appreciate the fans booing him either. I know they were probably booing the situation.
Oh, they were booing. No, they weren't booing Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean, it was more the situation, but I mean, it was like, come on, like I was the same way of stop. It's not working. Like, just let it go at this point because they got 0 protection.
Right.
I mean, they were running 9 in the box, so I mean they were overloading the box, and Willis got, he got hurt and he got just beat up throughout the game. So
what's the latest on him? Is he? I didn't hear.
I don't know. I have not. I know he said after the game that he probably it looked worse than it probably was, is I guess what he was saying, but. I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't see 17 in. And now it's kind of like you want Levis to get experience.
Hell yeah, you do.
But
he plays.
But you don't want to get him killed.
No, that's such an asinine statement I hear on all the radio stations. It's such an asinine statement. I could get up and go out in the hallway and blow my Achilles out today.
Sure, but if he's not at 100%, you still want to put him out there?
He's got to be at least 100%. I'm saying if he's not 100%,
right,
I understand.
That's what I mean.
But if he's above 80%, put him out there. Put him out there and let him play.
Okay, I'll ride with you on that. But
what do they always talk
about? If he's not above that, I'm not putting him out. Like if he's not going to be able to move around,
of course not.
Then I'm not putting him out.
No. But if he's able to go, let him go. I mean, there's a difference between injured and hurt.
Sure.
Right? For all those who played, we all know this, injured and hurt. The experience he would get these last 3 games is invaluable. Then we bitch and moan about the whole spring and summer. Well, he needs experience. He's going to get it. And if he's able to go, let him go and fight through this. That's what he needs to do.
Well,
now you got me upset.
I know. That's what I do. No, I agree with you. If he's less than, you say 80, I'll go with that. Then I don't. I don't put him out there.
No. Don't get him out there if he can't.
Especially with that line. Like, that's what I'm worried about is, like, he got so beat up yesterday because that line was atrocious. There was a turnstile.
Oh, the left tackle, Duncan, was absolutely awful.
Skoronski wasn't very good either.
Good Lord. I mean, Derek Barnett put that guy on his butt, bull rushed that guy. The guy didn't set his butt, and he's got bull rushed back into Levis. Awful. That's coaching. That's bad in so many ways there, but there's a lot of problems on this team. But I think what the thing after the game was Derrick Henry and making the thing like he's now thought about not being a Titan forevermore. I mean, if the situation arises, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Go chase the ring, brother. Go do it. Nobody will fault you for doing that.
No. I'm just curious if the Titans want him back. Like if what that would be. I'm just curious if the Titans would want him back.
That's a good one. If it's me, yes, I'd want him back. But you got to retool that offensive line and go from there. But if I'm Derrick Henry, go chase the ring. Just go chase the ring someplace else. Find a team that can get you to the Super Bowl and do all that. You've shown us what you could do here. Just go and do that stuff. But I don't know. The main question is Mike Vrabel back? That's the one. I'm telling you, man, this Patriot stuff, I got a feeling and nobody's talked to me because nobody likes me, but I'm telling you, I got a feeling that Robert Kraft wants his guy, and I think his guy is Mike Vrabel, and I think Robert Kraft is so egotistical that he doesn't care what he gives up to get Mike Vrabel. And I've told you this for coaches. Always stay, a coach told me this years ago, stay one step ahead of the jailer, right?
Yep.
Stay one step ahead. Vrabel goes to New England, 5-year, 6-year contract. He's good. Here, he's got one more year at best. If he's got that, at best, to coach this football team. So if I'm Vrabel and the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to New England.
So I'm curious. He's
are
going to
you?
speak at noon today. I'm curious if his owner was in the building yesterday because they honored Billy White Shoes Johnson. I think she's been at most games, but Amy Adams Strunk was there. So I'm curious of what that conversation was like after the game because according to him, they talk all the time. So I would assume that there was a conversation with Amy Adams Strunk and Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon and the powers that be yesterday. So I'm wondering what that was like. And I agree. I mean, I still don't think he gets fired after this season. I know there's going to be people today, especially that are calling for. I mean, that's what we're going to get the rest of the way. They win, oh, he's great again. They lose, fire him. That's where it's going to be. I mean, I would like to see him get a chance to fix it because the more that I have kind of sat back and thought about it. A lot of it's his fault, but some of it isn't, especially the personnel, the drafting and everything. This is in this draft class that they have which is the first one without Robinson, actually looks pretty good. So let's kind of see what it looks like, a year under this new regime, and can they fix it, with free agency in this year's draft.
So if the Patriots come calling, say, hey, man, come home, you get to do this, 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 and this, he ain't staying.
Well, that's the different part of this conversation.
Gone.
So because I don't think – I wouldn't be shocked if that actually happens. And we've been talking a lot about coaches, being traded. Guys, that doesn't happen a lot. Like this is not a yearly thing. The only reason we're talking about it is because it's the Patriots and Vrabel's connection to the Patriots. But
Look,
if I'm the Chargers,
no.
I might sniff around too.
No, he ain't going. He ain't going there. He's going to New England. If he goes anywhere, that's home.
Right. But if it's a trade, he doesn't have a choice.
That's home. No, Chargers ain't going to trade for him. Chargers are going to go after Jim Harbaugh or somebody else. They ain't going after Vrabel, who's got coach of a 5-9 football team. No, they're not. They're not.
No, but I still think there are teams that view Vrabel like you view the former first-round pick of like, oh, they screwed him up, but we'll make him good. And it's different because I actually do think Vrabel's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a good coach.
What offensive philosophy does Mike Vrabel take to the Chargers that would make them exciting?
He'd have to probably bring Arthur Smith with him when he gets canned in Atlanta,
which is
probably going to happen maybe today.
Put a defensive lineman as a fullback. That's your offensive scheme there, sir.
Austin, can we talk about the Wildcat to Derrick Henry late in the game on their own 30-yard line?
Yeah, that was stupid.
Can we talk about that's an awful play call.
Tim Kelly did not have a good day.
No, he didn't. That was terrible. That was awful call. Yeah, I don't know. We could nitpick the entire game. Problem is they're out of the playoffs. Now what do you do going forward? I mean, what kind of effort are you going to see on Sunday when the Seahawks roll in here and Seahawks, if they beat the Eagles tonight, still very much alive. And then you got to go to Houston, and then Jacksonville comes home now. But, hey, shout out to the Houston Texans social media team who, when Vrabel walked in with that cowboy hat yesterday, I told you, man, they were waiting if this Texans could win that game somehow to rub it in their face. And there, if you haven't seen it yet, go find the Texans social media account.
It was good.
What they did, and I'm not going to explain it because I don't think we can explain it properly. It was a grand slam. I mean, it was
funny.
Now,
where I have a problem is J.J. Watt in his tweet, and he goes, okay, now we get the uniforms back. Brother, you never wore the uniforms. You never had anything to do with the uniforms.
Right.
Like, come on, man.
He even left Houston, too. He went to the Cardinals.
So. Like, come on. Like, just get over this crap of the uniforms and stuff. Like, all the Oilers that were there yesterday we're so grateful and thankful to Amy Adams Strunk for doing it because they know that that's their franchise. The
Right.
Texans are not their franchise.
That's right. They
So-
know that. Although Earl Campbell in the early days came out and said, my team's in Houston and
Well,
all that.
and
His
that's fine.
little thing changed quite
That's
a bit
fine.
from that. Yeah.
That picture of Eddie George, Earl Campbell, and Derrick Henry, that's a cool one.
Yeah, only missing one guy.
Who should that?
Chris Johnson. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Was he there yesterday?
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, you guys were tight, so I didn't know.
We were not tight, but I wish we were. He seems cool.
He's
He's
very
been
cool.
on with us a few times.
Yes.
But
yeah.
615-737-1025, your reaction to the Titans losing to the Texans. They're officially out of the playoffs. We'll take your calls and texts all show long on our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Check this out, Joe. Later in the show, not right now, but later in the show, we're going to begin our countdown to Christmas. And part of that is we're going to give away a pair of tickets to see your friend Kenny Chesney
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Zach Brown Band with Megan Maroney and Uncle Cracker at Nissan Stadium on August 3rd. Plus, you'll be qualified to win a $250 Electronic Express gift card.
Good Lord.
So be listening for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Kenny Chesney and qualify for that gift card.
When's that concert? Next
August 3rd.
August 3rd. Well, we know the Titans won't have a preseason game at home that day.
They will not. That is very, very true. So we'll be doing that a little later on in the show. Your reaction next to the Titans losing to the Texans yesterday and what the heck that means moving forward. We'll discuss next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
When Derek was having such a difficult time, did you guys continue to feed him the ball when he's averaging under a yard?
Well, I mean, we have to be able to establish a run, whether that's with Derek, whether that's Tajay, whether that's Jonathan Ward, and so, I mean, we've won a lot of football games, with that formula, and we've seen where it's been, some inefficient runs, and then, we break one and turn things around, and that didn't happen today. And,
how much did that have an effect on the pass protection too? Because it seemed like it left you in a lot of second and long, third and long type situations and gave up 7 sacks.
Yeah, there you go. You asked and answered a question, pretty well. So that's certainly we have to be balanced and be able to use the run game to create opportunities and play pass, which we've done before and will continue to strive to do, and not just force ourselves into difficult down and distances.
That was Mike Vrabel after the loss yesterday at Nissan Stadium. Chasing Big Joe, presented by Regal Realty Group here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, broadcasting live from our Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. That was pretty funny. You answered and you asked and answered your own question, which you kind of did.
Dumb question there. I get it. Yeah,
but
let him answer it.
Well, that's what it was. Look, here's how I would describe the Titans trying to run the football yesterday. And it wasn't just Derrick Henry. It was with Tajay Spears, too. They just could not run the football. Basically, that was like a Saturday night at Tin Roof where you just shoot your shot over and over again and it doesn't work out. And basically, you have to come to the conclusion of, if it hadn't happened by now, it ain't going to happen tonight.
What shot are we shooting here?
You know what I'm talking about.
That might be the most random, bizarre, awesome comparison I've heard.
I thought you would enjoy it. I didn't say that was me. I just said I've witnessed that.
All right, so let me ask you this. If you're Derrick Henry, why do you come back? Wait, let me preface this by saying there's a good comment on our text line here about
that's the first.
It says it's so.
Just kidding.
Says it's so funny. Everybody says go chase the ring. Nobody cares about a Super Bowl ring. This is from 6702. They want the money first and go get the ring. I mean, look at DeAndre Hopkins. He went with the team that paid him. The most money is to pay me, then I'll go get the ring after that. I get it, but some guys are a different mold, right? I think Derrick Henry is a different mindset and a different mold.
I do too.
I think he'd like to go to a team where he has a chance to win a Super Bowl because that defines your legacy. That really put you like, hey, I won a Super Bowl. I've got a Super Bowl ring. And but for Derrick Henry, why come back? If you can take less money and go to another team that's going to have a better chance to win the Super Bowl, look, this team ain't going next year to the Super Bowl, and probably next year after that. I mean, there's so many holes in this team because of bad drafts and bad personnel choices. They ain't going to get there, right? They're not going to get there. So go find yourself a team that you think is a top 5 or 6 team, take less money, and try to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, look, if that's his desire, if that's what he wants. Now, at the same time, I'd be curious if he, goes to Vrabel and goes to Carthon and go, guys, look, I know I have an opportunity. I could go somewhere else, but I think, well, I'll answer this part first. But I want to see this through. I want to be a part of this rebuild. I want to mentor these young players. So I'd like to stay. That could very well be something that he wants to do. And at the same time, if you're looking at it strictly from a finances point of view, I heard Rexrode say it this morning, I still believe that financially the best offer he could find would be here. So if it is about finances for him and not as much about chasing a ring, I think he'd probably get the best offer from the Titans than he would in the open market.
Okay, then you're not chasing a ring. Then you're just getting money.
And that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. But again, it's all about what does he care about? Because he,
But besides money, why does he come back? This line ain't getting much better next year. You can go ahead and plug one. So you're going to waste your whole draft on getting new guys to come here with offensive linemen? And you see what happened with Skoronski. He's hit a wall. I mean,
because he has no help.
No help, one thing, but also this is a grind. You hear guys every year of the rookies, it's a grind. I mean, there's 1 day off a week that you get, and now you're entering week 15 or week 16, whatever it is, with the open week, and now you don't have a lot of time to rest. And at Northwestern, hell, they were done late November.
Yeah. Do you buy the?
I broke.
Jared's whole thing is you don't draft a guard at 11. That's been his whole thing with Skoronski, and that's why he and a lot of people want to see Skoronski put at left tackle. Are you of the belief of that or do you think he'd be better at left tackle if they put him there?
I don't know if he'd have been a good left tackle when they've already put him there.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. And I think you take the best player that fits your needs. And at 11, they needed a guard, and that they took him. And they got Levis in the second round. We can go back and look at drafts, what history, and just pick them apart. That's so easy to do right there. And, would you want to get a receiver? I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of nitpicking that goes on when it comes to the draft, especially, right now when, if you're a fan base and, you want to see your team do well and they're not, you're going to blame anyone and everyone as much as you can. You're going to nitpick the crap out of the draft, nitpick every move that's been made in free agency, and you're going to find something wrong with it because that's being a fan. That's what happens. So there are people that think that Vrabel and Carthon are the biggest idiots on the face of the earth because they drafted a guard at 11 or, Levis in the second round and didn't get a receiver or whatnot. This draft class to me, overall, right now, looks pretty good. Now, they're still, it has to be some development.
Yeah, I mean, Duncan looked awful yesterday.
But that's a fifth or a sixth, whatever. I mean, yesterday was a bad day. But overall body of work, I think you have something to work with. You don't have a bunch of scrubs is what I'm saying.
9013 says, what a difference one game makes in reactions to wins and losses. The Miami win and the Texans loss. Yeah, that's why we love football, because it tortures us. It is for most of us, it is our real life. It's our reality show. And it's right in front of our face, and it tortures us every time we get out there. I just want to know why Derrick Henry would come back.
This is a good one. If Vrabel is still the coach, I think Henry will want to come back. If Vrabel is gone, I'd say it's less likely.
Good point.
I actually agree with that.
I think Derrick Henry deserves his opportunity to go out and chase a ring and go with the team that does it. You're not going to get one here. You're not going to do it. Why come back? We know you're not going to be doing that. Go find a football team where you think you can get the opportunity to do that.
Okay, so let's play that game for a second. If he leaves to go chase a ring, what are the best candidates for that?
For next year?
That he could actually – that one would want him and he could actually fit in.
Well, let's see how it plays out. I mean, January, February, and see come March, and you got the opportunity there. Obviously, it's the ones, the Eagles, the Cowboys would be fun.
I think the Cowboys – to me, the Cowboys would be the number one fit for him.
Would he fall in the Eddie George when Eddie George went to the Cowboys and was awful,
Maybe.
And they benched him halfway through the season?
But I think he'd be a good complimentary back to Pollard.
I totally agree. He'd look good in you're a Cowboys fan. He'd look good in those
He'd
uniforms.
wear number 2 because he can't wear 22.
Right.
But he could wear number 2.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, why not?
I could see it.
But it's because the Cowboys are playing. The Cowboys lose their next 3 games and get bounced out. And they're like,
the Cowboys looked terrible yesterday.
But you could pick your story now. So if I'm Derrick Henry, go pick your story. It ain't happening here. Great. We love you. Great job here. Sorry that, the coaching staff and the person and the GM couldn't build an offensive line around you. You go back to the 2019 team and that offensive line, Lawan, Nate Davis,
Ben Jones,
Roger Saffold, Jack Conklin. I mean, we could have got yards behind that line. They're all gone.
Yep.
They're all gone. Now, some of decisions of free agency, some have injured, some have moved on. I get all that. But the fact there was not one complimentary piece to put in there, those guys left, says quite a bit about this. And it's that word coaching malpractice all the time. It's like personnel malpractice right now for not knowing that this offensive line is really, really, really bad.
Robert says, and this is a narrative that I find interesting. I feel so bad for Derrick, man. A Hall of Fame player wasted here. I really hate it for him. I don't buy into that he's been wasted. I mean, just because your team didn't win a Super Bowl doesn't mean you've wasted a Hall of Fame talent. Like he's been the reason this team has had the success that they've had. And the success is getting to the AFC Championship game. That's the ceiling to this point, and that may be the ceiling for this whole group. I mean, I guess that's what it's going to be. but I wouldn't say that talent's been wasted.
No, not at all. Here's a good point. Joel on Twitter says the O-line is bad, yes, but Henry might want to come back for the simple fact that there's only a couple other teams that would still use him in a way that will continue his push for the Hall of Fame, which, by the way, if he does come back, I think it would be a reduced role, more short yardage, yada, yada, yada. Do you want a guy on your team whose only goal is to make the Hall of Fame? I don't.
No.
I don't. And Derrick Henry, I don't think he's that. I don't know him.
I don't think he's that guy.
He's not that way at all. He wants to win. So why not go where your talents are used, where you can win and help that team? He doesn't need the money. All right, let's break it down. Yeah, you get paid. That's fine. It's not like he's making $7.50 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to cross street make $8.25, right? He's earned every single penny that he's gotten. Now it's his time to go out and find a team to get to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, you know this as well as I do, Chase. Your legacy is defined more greatly if you've won a Super Bowl or not. There's only a few people that did not win a Super Bowl that are those high-level players, like a Dan Marino or a Chris Carter or Randy Moss, guys that did not win a Super Bowl, but their play preceded everything. It doesn't happen that way. Derrick Henry with the Super Bowl ring, over 10,000 yards, all the touchdowns, he's in.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we'll continue to take your calls and texts on that. Real quick, Jeff wants to weigh in on Derrick Henry and him being booed yesterday. Jeff, what's up? Welcome in.
Guys, thank you so much. Hey, real quick question. Were you guys in the media booth or out with the fans yesterday in the game?
I was with the fans.
Chase?
Yeah, I was amongst the people.
All right. First and foremost, I didn't feel like it was booing, none whatsoever, for Derrick Henry. Probably one of the biggest class acts of the organization. Also, I've been a season ticket member since day one, and I kind of did some math yesterday. And with 4 tickets, with the tailgating, the travel, the crowds, dinner afterwards, is about a $1,500 ticket for me yesterday. And while I never booed at all, I did yell the word stop. And I think y'all will know what I'm talking about because, again, maybe kudos to the Texas team and the coaching that they did. But my comment was to stop making those calls because it was still deep into the third quarter and we were getting nowhere with it. So I just wanted to make sure from a fan perspective there was no booing, none whatsoever. But kind of like what you said, Kelly had I think a bad day, and we all have bad days. But from a fan's perspective, it doesn't give you the right to boo. I don't think that's right, and I agree with y'all. But I did yell the word stop.
Yeah.
Because it seemed to be, you guys got to be kidding me. You're not doing this call again. But, hey, love the show. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Good point.
Yeah, and I did that too. I'm like, stop. It's not working. It's not working.
Yeah, I don't.
And you have to accept the fact that it's not working.
It's lazy play calling. It's lazy.
And I love the old coach speak of, well, we were trying to establish the run.
Oh, God.
Mike, it's the fourth quarter and you haven't established it yet. I don't think it's getting established.
Yeah, before the break, 6455 says, in no way were we booing Derrick Henry. Booing was 100% for the play calling and Tim Kelly. I think that's
and I know that. Like I get that for sure. Coming up next, we'll talk to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, get his thoughts on yesterday's loss and the Titans being eliminated from the playoffs. That's all next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game. Are we in church? What are we doing here?
I accidentally clicked the wrong button, but this looks pretty good.
Okay.
Well, we need to be in church.
The Titans might need
Need
to
some
be.
prayers.
Yeah, we do.
T's and B's. We say hello to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who is here with us. Brett, good morning. How are you?
What's going on? Is that my new welcome intro music right there?
I guess. We may roll with it. I don't know.
It was kind of doomsday yesterday, so I guess it's fitting. So
It was not good yesterday. I mean, we were just watching the highlights on NFL Network. I was there. I mean, it just some days, I guess you can say it just doesn't go your way. Nothing was really going the Titans' way, and yet, except for that first part of the game, and yet they still probably shouldn't have lost the game because I don't think the Texans played all that well either.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad they didn't have Stroud and Nico and Tank Dell and the weapons that they had on offense. Probably could have been pretty ugly, but the Titans came out fast. They came out, got that lead, which was great to see. And then I thought the defense played well. A couple penalties that were a little costly at times. I mean, they only had, I think, 5 for 50, which, isn't going to get you beat. But, penalties at costly times can get you beat. But, overall, I thought, it was kind of that ugly, low-scoring game that's just a big old pillow fight at times. And, I thought they had enough to win it, but obviously not being able to finish late, probably had 2 cracks late in the game, to win it. But, it's just, I feel like they've had a lot of them this year where, I think if you have, an average offensive line and I don't even know if it's necessarily more weapons or anything like that. I just think that protection, getting sacked 7 times and, Wills, you got Tannehill warming up on the sideline and, I think an average O-line in this team's completely different. They might be in first place in the division. So it's just one of those, you just shake your head and, 3 games left. And, how do you look forward to the off season with positivity?
When you watched Derrick Henry yesterday, 16 carries for 9 yards, I mean, they just could not get the run game established at all, even though they kept trying throughout the game. I mean, now the question is, he was asked about it of, does he look at this could be his final games with the Titans? What does he want moving forward? I mean, you obviously played with him for a long time. It's going to be a interesting offseason when it comes to Derrick Henry and what he wants and what the team wants. But do you think we are seeing maybe the end of 22 with the Titans?
I mean, you could be. I mean, obviously you never know what happens in free agency. You never know what other team feels like they want him, they need him. I still feel like if you put him in a spot where he can be getting his carries, I still think he can easily go over 1,000 yards. And I feel like if he gets a season or 2 more at 1,000, or even, the Super Bowl ring, I mean, I don't know, you guys can debate it or not. Like a Super Bowl ring helps you get a gold jacket or not. I think that's a debate where a lot of people feel like he needs one, he doesn't need one. If he's over this many yards, there's just so much that goes to it. Are you now looking at Christian McCaffrey as the gold standard of a running back to get a gold jacket, right? But you never know. I feel like he still has a lot in the tank. And, yesterday I think you keep going with the run because the score dictates that you can still go with the run, right? You're not down, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns late in the game where you have to throw and you're in obvious passing situations. The game's still close. And with Derrick, fourth quarter, that's what he does. All you need is for him to pop off 1 or 2 runs, 25-yarder, maybe a 40-yarder, and all of a sudden you're in position to be in the red zone or a field goal, and maybe that's all it takes to win the game.
We're talking to Brett Kern this morning. Brett, I've been on a few teams in college that when the season was over, the few games left, I'd say probably 75% of the team packed it in. But there were a few guys who stood up and said, look, we got to finish the season off. You've been on teams, unfortunately, in the NFL that eliminated with a couple of games to go. What's the motivation that you guys found to finish out these last couple of games?
Your opportunity to play on that team the next year. Guys that kind of packed it in with 3-4 games left they were not on the team next year because their film showed it. They showed that they weren't, going full tilt to the tackle. You could say all the Vrabel-isms you want about what he loves in a football player, but the moment, you think the season's over with and we're out of it, no big deal, whatever, right? You kind of get that complacency, and all it takes is 2-3 games, or you're putting out bad film, bad finishing, and then you're not even on the team the next year. And unfortunately, the other 31 teams looking at film see, hey, this guy's loafing, this guy's slacking. We don't want to bring him in. And then the next thing you know, you can't get a job. So for me, when there was 3 games left or 4, the Whisenhunt years, I felt like we were out of it, after 5 games in the season. But
shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
There was plenty of times where there's still 4, 5, 6 games left, and you're out of playoff contention. But you still, like I said, I told you guys before, I got 3 kids at home, a wife. I love it in Nashville. I didn't want to leave. I wanted this to be my home. And so I had motivation just to finish strong and be consistent. And so I think with 3 games left, there's guys that are probably, you think about those college guys, right?
Right.
They are done. They've hit that rookie wall where, if you're playing in a bowl game, you get that 2-3 week break and you're fine. You can kind of, get back going again. But for some of these guys, it's real. It's a long season. It's a long grind. And so the motivation for them too is to obviously finish strong. But yeah, it's a grind, but you just got to keep going, got to keep finishing.
I want to ask you this: you were the holder on some amazing game-winning kicks. When you watch that game yesterday with the Texans, you paying close attention to the holder because as you well know, if the ball's not set perfectly, the thing goes off. Is that what you pay attention to sometimes, Brett, when you see that?
Oh, absolutely. I still get like even yesterday watching that, still get a little bit of butterflies in the chest just because this is a game winner. The opportunity, especially from 54. I think yesterday, obviously I wasn't there, but I could just very well look at my weather app and see what the wind direction was and all that and know exactly what the wind's doing in that stadium. So, a 54-yarder on a kind of a chilly day, that's a big-time kick. And, obviously, Kaimi with, obviously able to connect on all his field goals to get them points when they weren't able to score in the red zone was huge, too, to kind of keep momentum going just a little bit to at least be getting points. But that's overtime 54-yarder. That's not going to top the Ryan Suckup in Kansas City, 0 degrees, to kind of keep your playoff chances rolling. That is something that I don't think will ever be topped in my watching or my playing days. So, but yeah, that's awesome to see.
What are we looking at, 0.3 or 0.25 to get the ball back from the snapper to you?
So you're looking at an operation, field goal. You want to be like Rob Ronas was like 1.2 full from snap to kick, and you want to talk about lightning fast. I remember one of the first practices that I had with Rob. He was around a 1.15, which literally the snap has to be perfect. Spot has to be perfect. There's no time to switch the laces for the tilt, anything. And I remember looking up at him, and I was like, Rob, are you serious? And he goes, like, you ready? And he just gave me this look like, all right, come on, here we go. Because at the time, I was only my 2nd year, right? And he just kind of gave me this look, and I was like, oh, my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. He might kick my hand off at some point this year. But, you can go anywhere from 1.2 is quick, 1.4, now you're looking at pretty slow operation, potentially getting blocked. If you got a pretty good athletic jumper up the middle. But, yeah, it's fast. But, I tell people my rookie year, my special teams coach in Denver at the time, we did 200 jugs snaps a day in training camp. So by the end of training camp, I was close to, 5,000-6,000 snaps of field goal. And it's just a routine, right? You go out there, you catch it, you put it down, and off you go.
What have you thought about Zentner since he's taken over as the punter?
Yeah, he's done well. Obviously, he came in, the Miami game had some good. That's a really nice place to start. Your career down in Miami, especially in December. I think last year at this time I had my first game with the Eagles, and we were in Chicago, and it was 5 degrees with 30-mile-an-hour winds. So to be able to start Miami is pretty great. But yesterday I know you had that huge punt. They downed it. I think Chris Moore downed it on the 1 or the 2, and just kind of picking up with field position. I think the defense the way they were playing yesterday. If you can just get those balls inside the 10 in any way, shape, or form, that defense is going to go out there, and all of a sudden you create. You're catching the ball. Mason did a good job catching the ball yesterday, not letting it bounce. Just be able to get good field position. So I think he's done a great job so far.
Well, It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to react these next 3 games, but we'll break it all down. We're off next week, so Merry Christmas to you and the family, and we will catch up sometime next week, I'm sure.
Sounds good. I just got the kids. I got them a puppy, so
nice.
It's probably good that we have a week off so I can potty train this thing. So
What, we got a name for it yet?
Yeah, Kobe.
Nice.
Kobe.
I
Well
like
done.
that. I
Right.
like that.
Yeah. So either B for the Kobe Bryant, whatever you want to think of it as. That's fine. So
Okay.
Wait,
yeah,
what
it's
kind? What'd you get?
it's a mini golden doodle. So
Oh, cool.
He's,
Nice.
he's been fun so far, but it's been it's like having a newborn all over again. So it's been fun.
Hey.
Good luck.
Every time I have a puppy, I'm like, man, this is why you only do this every so often.
That's
But
right.
They're a lot.
Y'all have a great Christmas.
You too. Thanks. Appreciate it. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, with us on the show. He joins every Monday at 9:30 to get his breakdown of the Titans game. Continue to take your reaction to the Titans' loss yesterday. They are eliminated from playoff contention. 615-737-1025. We'll get to more of your calls and texts coming up next. And also, there is one team in Nashville that is clicking on all cylinders and then some right now. We'll discuss that as well. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, friends, listen to me. I want you to say goodbye to all those high medical bills. When you use medical house calls, you do not have to worry about hidden fees or surprise charges. Medical house calls is revolutionizing how patient care is getting done. Look, patients pay one flat fee no matter the treatment, making medical house calls more affordable than the average urgent care and emergency room. You know, this is the cold and flu season. You can get tested and treated without leaving your home. Their mobile medical service are fantastic and are here to make your health a top priority. Simply visit medicalhousecalls.com and see what everyone is talking about. In fact, Chuck McDowell loved the treatment he received so much, he bought the company. Read the numerous great reviews on the website and go to that website, medicalhousecalls.com, where the nearest clinic is your home.
Andrew, when you've seen in this stretch of hockey, how much character have you seen this group develop in the last 31 games? Because it's the start of the year, obviously, but you're talking about grit, being gutsy. How much character have you seen this group develop?
We have tons of character, and our whole team exemplifies it and brings it. So as a coach, you're lucky to have that group. And, you know, it's trials and tribulations. It's work. It's still growth. Still like to see us have the puck a little bit more than we've had. You know, there's lots of things as a coach you'd like to see a little bit more, but their character is high level.
That was Andrew Brunette after the 3-1 win over the Washington Capitals Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena for the Predators. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 the game. The Titans going in the wrong direction. The Predators certainly going in the right direction. This team a lot of fun to watch right now. They get the overtime win. Philip Forsberg, once again, Mr. OT, gets that win on Friday night, and then they come back to Bridgestone Saturday night and get a 3-1 win over the Washington Capitals. Just have been so much fun to watch these guys and what they're doing. And you're getting Forsberg doing his thing, O'Reilly doing his thing, but you're also getting contributions from guys like Colton Sissons, Yakov Trenin, and then that breakaway goal by Phil Tomasino was a beaut the other night.
I hate this more than anything, but if the playoffs started today, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
But no, it's good to see them up there in fourth spot. Well, actually tied for third in the Central. So it's good to see them up there doing that after where they started out 5-5. But that win Friday night versus Carolina was fantastic. Just fantastic. And to come back and do it again, I mean, look, on those back-to-backs, you're like, all right, we win one, we lose one, we understand that. But to win both of those, huge.
Yeah, and what I think is, kind of interesting about a team like this, that's a team that many viewed as a team in transition, that, you have the beginning of the year and you're kind of waiting for, okay, they're going to get on a little bit of a hot streak and everybody will get excited about that. Well, then they do that. Well, then the hot streak becomes more than just a little hot streak. It becomes a pretty big hot streak.
Correct.
But I still think there's like, okay, get to the All-Star break and what does it look like? There's still some of that. And that's fine. I mean, that's honestly I think the way you should look at things right now, that, this could cool down, or, you know this, Joe, that confidence is a dangerous thing. Like you let a team get confident, and even if they're not as good as maybe they're playing, that if they believe it, then it doesn't matter.
Well,
and so
not only that, but you can't make the playoffs in December, but
you certainly can lose it.
Yes, certainly could lose. So they've won 4 straight. Nobody even comes close in the National Hockey League to what they're doing. So it's fun, man. It's good to see Bridgestone rocking and people getting back in there and having a good time and the team winning, and kind of that, all right, it's us against the world mentality. We talked to Ryan O'Reilly about that last week, about, getting on the road, doing things, and it's, nobody expects anything out of this hockey team outside of Nashville, and these guys are making things happen. So it's fun to watch, man. Boy, I'd love a nice run come April, May into June. Man, this town would
I would love it too.
Again.
I mean, like, it was – when you start talking about planning and everything, on our end, it's like, okay, what is April and May going to look like?
Right.
And right now it looks like we're going to be hockey, and that's what I hope too. That would be awesome.
Don't let people outside the Nashville or the Tennessee area know about this hockey team.
I know. Yeah, they're just flying under the radar right now.
Just keep it way down. It's weird always because, I'm looking at the standings now. The Blackhawks, it's just odd seeing them so far out of it at the bottom.
But they knew what – their fan base knew what to expect, that they were going to continue – they're rebuilding. They don't have a lot. They have Connor Bedard. But right now they're going to be in line to get the top draft pick, or being a good chance to get the top draft pick, I should say, with the lottery. But they're bad. The San Jose Sharks are bad. Anaheim Ducks are bad. The Oilers shouldn't be bad. I mean, they were 8-2-0, but they've lost 2 in a row. So it's just it's interesting. Columbus isn't very good. Pittsburgh, Ottawa, they haven't been very good either.
Right.
So still a long way to go.
I didn't somebody ask Trotz if this is a rebuilding year, and what did he say? He didn't say rebuilding, but
yeah, nobody wants to say rebuilding, and I get it. Yeah,
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
because it's not. I look at it more of it's a transition, because you have transitioned from the only GM that the team's ever known, and then to a new coach. Which, looking back on it, the more the more further removed you get away from things, like I understand having to evaluate and everything, but it does make more sense if you're going to make the GM change, then let him bring his own guy in. And it worked. And, it's worked to this point. Andrew Brunette, I think this team plays. Do you watch how this team plays and you go and you watch old tape of Andrew Brunette and how he played? You see that identity, that they're playing the same way that their head coach played.
Yeah, Shannon the Burrow is a Preds fan. You know that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
He says Tomasino needed the breakaway goal. Hopefully that goal will help him get back on track. You made a good point there. With the relationship between the GM and the head coach, when they're all walking the same way together, it's good. It make no bones. You've heard from Trotz about Brunette, Brunette about Trotz, about the relationship and the respect for each other. It's just weird, man. You still go back to the Titans and that Rand Carthon and Vrabel. It's just – I don't know, man. Where there's smoke, there's often fire, and then it just seems – I don't know. It seems like something –
Yep.
And, look, we watched the body language in Miami of Vrabel and Rand. It was – I'm telling you, man, body language says a lot about people. And it was kind of like, what's up, man? He's like, what's up with you? Playing a game. I know. I mean, it was kind of like –
And that's why the conversation is going to need to be had at the end of the year between Amy Adams-Strunk and Mike Vrabel, and just those two. Do you want to be here?
Yeah.
And it's just like, people were bringing up Tierra Tart. Like, man, they really could have used him yesterday. What happened with Tierra Tart? If he didn't want to be here, then you don't want him here.
Yeah. If you don't want to be on the football team and not give me 100%, see ya.
They could have. You're right. Absolutely could have used him yesterday, but clearly he didn't want to be here, and there was something going on there. And they parted ways.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now, we go back to this whole New England thing again. I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, like, here, you can run the football team. You can handpick your GM. You're the head coach. Who would turn that down? Nobody would.
But here's the catch-22 in it.
Just don't throw it to Burks on
New
that.
England is going to have a top 3 draft pick.
I don't think Robert Kraft cares. I don't think.
Right, but if I'm Mike Vrabel, I care. Like, you're giving that up to get me, so I'm not going to have that.
I don't think Vrabel cares either. I mean, I think you go and sign a 5-6 year deal. You're going back home.
Yeah. And
you're away from the questions here. And now you're back home with your beloved Patriots and the owner. Now you can say whatever you want to when you go up there. Now, and I got blasted for when he went up there and did that speech getting the Hall of Fame. It's no big deal. It was a big deal to say those things.
If he gets traded to New England, you want to talk about, like, Ken Wisenhunt is hated here. You want to talk about somebody that would be public enemy number 1?
I don't think so.
I do.
I think you'd be like, here's what he had to work with, and this didn't get done. There'd be a lot of
I think fans would turn on him.
Be a lot of malice towards him, but I don't think it's – I think Wisenhunt is now like that guy was just a complete joke. And
sure.
gone. I think there's a little respect for Vrabel here if he would leave.
Well, there should be. I'm just saying I know how fans work. Ian Rappaport on Twitter or X says – Titans quarterback Will Levis, who went down with a lower leg injury late in the loss Sunday, is believed to have suffered a sprained ankle. Sources said he'll have an MRI today. So that's the latest.
Rappaport, the best Titans reporter out there.
Yes, indeed. We'll continue to take your reaction. Titans lose yesterday, and what does this mean moving forward for Derrick Henry? We'll discuss that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin, Chase McCabe with you on this Monday. Titans lose in overtime yesterday to the Texans. They were officially eliminated from postseason play. And what's crazy is you look at the AFC South with the Jags getting destroyed on Sunday Night Football by the Ravens. They're all 8-6 except for the Titans.
What
so
are
it's
they?
a three-way tie. I don't even know.
5-9.
5-9.
Let me ask you this, Chaser. So a lot of college kids are opting out of bowl games, okay? Derrick Henry, would you be mad if he opted out the last 3 games so he doesn't get injured? I know it'll never
Yes.
happen. I would too.
I would because one, that is not that doesn't fit his character. And
Plus you're
two,
getting
like
paid.
I get
Right.
mad. I mean, I'm going to say this. All these kids that are opting out of bowl games, shame on you. Like that you signed up to do something, to be on a team, and you're quitting on your team. I mean, you get mad about Steve Spurrier quitting on South Carolina.
Quitter. Steve Spurrier's a quitter.
Right. All these guys that are in the portal and they're opting out of bowl games because of the draft, like, okay, to an extent with the draft guys, I get it, but still finish your job.
Yeah,
Finish
I
what
agree.
you started.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that it's got to the point where some players out there would be like, I'm a free agent next year. I don't want to get injured, and I mean, it's kind of the mindset now for some players. I'm not saying he would. I'm not at all, but as you get ready to go next year, I always think about when Keith Bulluck got injured his last year here. Man, he hadn't signed a contract for the next year, and when he got his knee hurt versus the Rams, like, man, this is the end of Keith Bulluck in Nashville.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we all knew that.
But again, if you think about getting injured, you're going to get injured. That's
right.
the thing. You think about I'm getting injured, all that. You manifest all that stuff. So,
And Derrick Henry is the last guy in the NFL that I would ever think would do that.
Right.
Like, I mean, he's gonna like even if they told him, "Hey, man, don't worry about it. You don't have to play." He'd go, "Oh, I'm playing." He's that guy.
Just like Will Levis is going to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're not holding him out.
Yeah,
He's not holding himself out.
No, he's not holding himself out. I mean, if he's got a sprained ankle though, like just be smart about it. That's my whole thing. Just be smart about it. Like, I know the experience is invaluable and he needs it with these 3 games. Now these 3 games that you got nothing to play for, this is called playing for the future. This is called, all those young guys, you want to get them as much experience as possible.
Sure.
And Levis is obviously a part of that. But don't do anything that's going to endanger him for the future.
No, but if he's good to go, put him in there and let him good to go and have it from there. But if he's not, of course, you understand that.
Can I rant for a second, because you kind of just touched on something with me.
Just don't touch me.
With the bowl game thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, it does piss me off. Like, when all these guys are like, "Yeah, I'm opting out of the bowl. I'm not going to play the bowl game." Then why even have bowl games? Like, I mean, it's obviously a financial thing, and they're tradition and they're fun, but like you're diminishing them. Like Scott Ramsey and his team that put a year's worth of work into the Music City Bowl and the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. And everything that they do to make that happen. I mean, that's their jobs, that's their livelihood. And then you're going to have kids that Levis didn't play in it last year. You're going to have kids that just say, "Nah, I'm going to focus on myself in the future. I'm not going to play this game." It's still a part of your season,
Right.
like it drives me nuts. And if I'm an NFL scout, if I'm an NFL GM and I'm interviewing those guys, I'm going to go, "Why didn't you play in the bowl game? Why didn't you complete the season with your team?"
Right. I'm looking. You got me looking now. First players to opt out of bowl games. The biggest one that comes to mind, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And Leonard Fournette decided to skip their bowl games. They were blasted. Nobody really knew how that would impact their playing going forward. But I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But there's a lot of these kids out there like, I don't have a lot. I'm busting my butt if I get injured.
Sure.
I get it.
I
hate it.
I get both sides, but I still hate it because it's like, if it doesn't mean anything and people want to go, "Well, they're meaningless bowl games," and I've even said that too, then why do we have them? Like, if that's how we're all going to feel, if we're all going to think that they're meaningless and then why have them?
Yeah, I can't. There's no argument. I mean, I see both sides of it. And I
Sure,
think that's the thing.
sure, and it's one of those things that is probably never going to go away. Now, Do I think we need? I think there are like 40-something bowl games this year. Do I think we need that many? No, we don't. Like the fact that bowl games started on Saturday, while they were somewhat entertaining for financial reasons, I could do without them.
You just answered your own question there, too.
Well, I know.
Terry McCormick.
I know. I did. You're right. I kind of just did. You're right.
You answered it all. I mean, people are watching. I watch them. I mean, it's football. It's a bowl game. Look, they don't need people in attendance. They get the money off of television. They don't need you to go to the game. I'd love to have you go to the game. It's more fun to go to the game. I think the bigger the bowl is, the more. I think the Music City Bowl will be great. They do a great job. It'll be a great crowd over there. But these lower level bowls, they don't care. I mean, they're fine.
Right.
With all that. So I know it's a trend that's going to never stop, and now it is what it is. And, guys switching teams left and right, I mean, it's just the norm is not the norm anymore for any of this.
Do you think, going back to Derrick Henry, are we seeing his final games in a Titan uniform?
I 100% think so.
Do you?
Yep. It is. I think they'll give him the option, like, all right, where do you want to go? And if the Miami Dolphins come and say, hey, we'll give you a 2-year deal, here's what you pay, here's on their offense, go. Go take it.
I think you're right, but I will wish that you are not right. And here's why. Not because, I have this infatuation for Derrick Henry. I obviously think he's a great player, and I respect the heck out of him and want to see him play his whole career in a Titans uniform. I think that, and yes, you can sit here and go, look at Miami and look at yesterday, 16 for 9. If you get him behind a decent offensive line, he still can be productive. And I think that is very, very beneficial for a young team. To have a veteran guy like that, a serial winner, as to borrow a phrase from Andrew Burnett, to have a guy like that on this team with Will Levis at quarterback and Atajay Spears and, the young guys that you're going to bring in, I think would be huge. Now, at the end of the day, he does have to have some say in it. Like, if he doesn't want to be here and he wants to go chase a ring, then I'm going to respect that.
Sure.
And wish him the best. But, if he's like, hey, I'm in on this rebuild, I'm in on this transition, whatever you want to call it, then I don't think you close the door on that if you're the Titans.
2700 says, I respected Bryce Young so much more for playing the ball game against a physical Kansas State team, also in the Heisman and the first-round pick. Yeah, I mean, there are guys who are going to do that for the team and not give up and opt out of these games, and you'd love to see it. And Bryce Young just go out and play the game and win the Sugar Bowl last year, whatever it was they played down in New Orleans against Kansas State. I get all that, and that's fine. We love to see it, but I'm not in these kids' shoes, man. And I'm not. I mean, back in the day, nobody opted out. You played the ball game because you got the perks of playing the ball game. Now it's like, if I get injured, nobody's going to talk. And I understand that 100%. But go back to Derrick Henry. If I'm Derrick Henry, and that's kind of our question at 615-737-1025. If you're Derrick Henry, do you come back? And if you come back, why? You're not coming back to win a Super Bowl. This team is so far away from winning a Super Bowl. It's not even funny. With all – look, the holes. Offensive line's got to be repaired, right?
Sure.
You need another receiver, right? The tight end position is not that well right now. You need a secondary. Your secondary is awful. So many holes in this team that one season's not going to fix. I mean, there's – if you want to build through the draft, that's fine. But that takes years to build through the draft, years.
Yeah, for sure. 615-737-1025. And real quick, a good example of a guy that played the ball game and got hurt, Matt Corral.
Yep.
Now, I don't think he was going to be a first-round pick by any means, but I think it certainly hurt his chances.
It did. And now he
in the
gets
NFL.
stuck on the Panthers, and then they draft Bryce Young, and he's there. But it is. But you just can't go. If we talk about, you can't go, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt because you're going to get hurt today if you keep thinking that.
You cannot do it, indeed. Well, more of your calls and texts next. 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Chase and Big Joe, brought to you by Regal Realty Group, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Joe's dancing in here right now.
I love anytime I hear the Backstreet Boys, I dance.
In sync.
I knew it.
Got him. Got
Nice
him.
try, Joe.
All right, we got a college football game today, Chase. We have the famous Toastery Bowl at 1:30. Where is the famous Toastery Bowl being played?
The famous Toastery Bowl is going to be played in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, so close. Charlotte.
Okay.
Western Kentucky's taking on, I'm not sure who. I don't see the other team listed here, but
How many damn bowl games does
well,
Charlotte?
first of all, language,
Sorry.
and then secondly, as many as they want because they get the money for it and teams enjoy it.
Old
so.
Dominion today versus
Old
Western
Dominion.
Kentucky.
Old
What,
Dominion.
the school or the band?
They
'Cause
they just played Bridgestone Friday night.
Did they?
Yeah,
So-
sure did.
If you're a betting man, and I'm not, take Western because Old Dominion has been playing games and not preparing for Western Kentucky.
Yeah. Austin Reed's a good quarterback.
For Old Dominion?
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky. So, yeah, Old Dominion probably been on tour, haven't practiced much, prepared much, and then,
I get their vocal cords all set up.
yeah, well, that doesn't win games at all. Okay, there you go. So they're listed on Bowling Green today. Good luck to Western Kentucky.
So a few texts on this, and I heard the morning show reference it too when talking about Derrick Henry. Is there any chance in your mind at 30 years old that he could hang it up?
No.
There's no I don't even think that's a thought.
Chase, we stood next to him in the locker room. He's as big as a tank.
He's
in shape.
He's in great shape.
He's not going to know. I'm telling you, man, he's the player that you want on your team with that mindset of just winning ball games. And what was the quote he had to the night? It's like, hey, you didn't have – he's like, we won the game. We won – was it at Miami?
Right.
We won the
game.
We won the game. Basically, I don't care what I did. As long as I contributed, we won the football game. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what you need. No, I think he wants to go, and nobody's going to badmouth him if he goes and chases the ring. Now, I'll feel bad if he goes to the Jags. I mean, that's his hometown,
Yeah.
right? I wouldn't go there, though. But, I mean –
Miami. That I mean,
Miami.
like if I'm gonna give
Bienvenidos.
if I'm gonna give you 5 teams that I think could be a fit for Henry next year, Cowboys probably are number 1.
Okay.
I just think that he fits that. Miami would probably be number 2. Maybe Buffalo.
Buffalo's a good one.
I'll tell you another one too. And we were having this give me a team that had like a bad record the year before they won the Super Bowl. The Eagles when they won in 2017, the 2017 season, they were 7-9 the year before. I think the Chargers are
Will you
there.
stop with this?
I think the Chargers are
Will
there.
you stop with this? Are you now?
They have the quarterback.
So does every other team that you mentioned.
Right.
Dallas,
right.
Buffalo.
But they've had crappy coaching. They need to fill a couple of holes. If Harbaugh goes in there, that's a good team.
What is your deal with the Chargers, man?
I think they're a good team that has been. I mean, look at all the one-score losses that they had, and that's ultimately the reason why Staley's gone.
Was that a one-score loss the other night? Just the Vegas.
That was not. That was not.
No, man. I think to me,
I think the Chargers are a better football team than they appear. They just have had bad coaching.
give me good quarterback, good head coach, and winning. Right.
Yep.
So Miami's got that, but we counted Buffalo out weeks ago. Man, they might be the hottest team in football right now.
They're back.
They looked good yesterday. So.
Be a great move for Vrabel to bring that culture in there.
I mean, but you want him with the Chargers, but that's okay. I swear, if he goes to the Chargers, I'll be like, Chase, I need your Powerball numbers,
Ricky
brother.
says Chase is smoking crack when it comes to the Chargers. Okay, that's fine. Y'all
First
think
of all,
that all you
if
want.
you did that in the studio, you'd be arrested.
I would. I'm
lose your
not.
job.
You don't have to worry about that. I'm
You
not.
had to go and buy it.
He also says Austin Reed is not playing today.
Oh, boy.
That is according to Mr. Music City Bets himself.
This could be an issue for Western.
So
I'm telling you, Old Dominion's not prepared.
But
They're probably working on new songs.
when I was in college and we did a show for CUSA, they had a really good run game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just pull out something up their sleeve, and just run the ball 24/7.
How many years ago was this?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff changes in 2 years. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
That's true. Very true.
I mean, I'm not up to date on Old Dominion football by any means, but, you know.
Valid points.
But you are the band, though. I mean,
Yeah, I like the band.
By the way, their first ever head coach just got hired at Tennessee Tech.
Really?
Barry Wilder or something like that.
Barry White? What?
Barry White just got hired up there. But I mean, don't discount the Chiefs. I mean, they would need a nice power running back, and he'd be good in that offense. But I don't, begrudge Derrick Henry if he goes to one of these other teams next year and plays. But there's a lot of teams that'll want him. I don't know why you'd want to stay here, though, man, because so many things you got to fix. And don't give me that. They got $100 million to spend in the cap.
Yeah, 85, but yeah.
I mean, this team went out and actually thought Andre Dillard would be a good.
That's my thing.
left
For
tackle.
everybody that's saying they got 85 million, I think that's ultimately what it's going to be. 85 million in cap space to spend. That's great. Do you trust this group to do it right?
No.
I mean, they had money to spend this offseason, and you got Andre Dillard.
Terrible. Just terrible.
Like, you really think they're going to do that?
Nope, not at all. No, that's the thing is that they can't evaluate really talent on the free agent level. And so I look, man, it's going to be an interesting offseason.
And guys have to want to come here too. That's the other part of this little process.
Yeah, what's appealing? I mean, but it's money wise. I mean, if you're going to pay me money, bottom line, it's how much you're going to pay me and for how long you're going to pay me and what's guaranteed. These guys aren't dumb. That's the way it is now. And then you'll have a pick. I mean, there'll be some guys that want to come here and you'll overpay for some. They always do, always overpay for guys. But that's a long road back for this Tennessee Titans football team, man.
It's going to be rough, that's for sure. Let's talk to Scott. He wants to weigh in on things. Scott, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I hear people defending Henry, saying it's a line, it's this, it's that. But, I mean, how do you explain the other running backs getting yards? Henry was held to 9 yards in 4 quarters. I mean, but the other guys are getting some yards. But Henry is not. I mean, he got 2 touchdowns against Miami. But, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
Yeah.
But how do you go from being great like he was? He got the name the King to 9 yards in 4 quarters, and I don't. A great running back breaks tackles.
Good point.
Well, explain it. I don't get it.
All right, I don't know if you watched the Hard Knocks episode when the Dolphins were preparing for the Titans, and I know Jared spoke about this, and it was really well done, is that they explained how to stop Derrick Henry. Basically is don't let him get going. Attack him in the backfield. So that's why when Derrick Henry
go for his legs,
needs to be in the game as a decoy and do play action fakes to him because it ties up the linebacker and releases the slot guy and the tight end down the field. The Dolphins are saying, if he gets going, you're done. Don't let him get going. I tweeted this yesterday. When he starts tippy-toeing, he's done. He is done at the line of scrimmage. Now, a lot of that's because of the offensive line, but once he's hesitating on where to go, you got him. Yeah. You got him. Once he gets a full head of steam and finds a little sliver in the line, he's got you. It's that simple. They highlighted one time that Houston had 8 guys in the box, and they were shooting linebackers through gaps to stop Derrick Henry. They had a plan, and that's where the Titans offensive coordinator was awful yesterday because he didn't adjust anything to that. I blame Tim Kelly for 95% of the problems yesterday because he didn't adjust what the Texans were doing. Now you got me pissed off, and I really didn't care.
Yeah, well, you're right, though. And, I mean, to Scott's point, Tajay Spears, 9 carries, 30 yards. Will Levis, 4 carries, 25 yards. And then Henry, 16 for 9, averaging 0.6 per carry. I don't think it was a great day for the run game.
No,
overall.
not at all.
I mean, like, Henry was not good, but – I mean, 9 for 30 with your longest run being 9 yards for Spears. That's not great either.
But he's in the game, and it's a change of pace guy, and there's all kind of things that are going on. When Derrick Henry did the Wildcat yesterday, it was like, he's got the ball. What's he go? He ain't going to throw in that situation. No. He's going to run it. And they just collapsed on him. Again, they shot linebackers up the gap to get him, and it paid off. The Texans had the blueprint. The Dolphins explained it very well in Hard Knocks what to do about Derrick Henry. Now every team's doing that. Once you get him outside and change things up, Derrick Henry's got you. And that's the point about that. Yeah, it helps to have a good offensive line, which he doesn't have. And if I'm Derrick Henry, I'm going to think, I'm not coming back behind this line next year. But you know what? This guy hasn't complained. He hasn't bitched. He hasn't moaned.
Nope.
He shows up on Sunday and gives everything he's got. That right there should be respected.
Yep, 100% it should. We'll get Jonathan Hutton's thoughts on things coming up next from Outkick. Chase and Big Joe, presented by Regal Realty Group. Also, your chance to win Kenny Chesney tickets before we get out of here. We'll do that after Jonathan Hutton here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios, and we are presented by Regal Realty Group. We say hello now to Jonathan Hutton, Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow from Outkick, weekdays 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. Hut, what's up?
Good morning, guys. Hope everyone's having a good Monday.
We're having a better Monday than the Titans after that
Yeah.
just
Yeah, for
awful,
sure.
awful game yesterday, and we've been asking this question throughout the show, because Derrick Henry was asked about it after the game. Are we seeing the final games of Derrick Henry in a Titans uniform? I think that's going to be one of the biggest questions of the offseason for the Titans. Do they want him back, and does he want to be back? How would you answer that?
Well, I mean, I think he wants to be back if the Titans are going to show that they're going to improve the offensive line and actually get back to what their foundation was and should be. But let's also say this. I mean, the price is also going to play a factor here, because I think much like what we're seeing with the defense, with going back to this past offseason with Byard, asked to take a pay cut, and then ultimately he's traded after he does. But from the run game perspective, where are they going to allocate the majority of their salary cap dollars? Is it going to continue to be in the backfield? Is it going to be in the receiving game, or in this case, the offensive line? So there's also a structure there that may not play into what Derrick Henry wants either. And this is the position that was the talk of the offseason. It will be another talk when it comes to Henry as well. I think the storyline more so, Chase, will be about the number of teams, or lack thereof, that are willing to pony up and pay Derrick, not because he's not worth that, but because you don't have many teams like the Titans that are zeroed in on the backfield first.
Yeah, I think that is a very, very good point. Tim Kelly yesterday, I was not impressed with the play calling, and I feel like that has kind of been the year. Like, good game, bad game, okay game, just very inconsistent. Obviously, the offensive line has a lot to do with that, but are there concerns on your end on Tim Kelly as the play caller moving forward?
Well, I mean, it's been inconsistent, yes. I would also say the offensive line play has been pretty consistent in that it's been bad. And I think that plays a factor in everything that they do. And it certainly did yesterday. It did in Miami, by the way, before the big comeback, the Miami Miracle at the end of the game. I look at what we have seen so far, guys, and I think, how did it get this bad to an offensive line that was really bad a year ago? I heard a lot of complaints around the play calling on first down, and there were issues in this game, yes. But it's hard to call plays when you can't get anything done up front. The Titans did the same thing in this game that they did against the Colts. They started fast. Their opening possession, 83 yards, touchdown. And after that, they ran 52 plays for 141 yards. The Titans' offense, the last three first quarters at home, 375 yards. The final three quarters and overtimes combined, 464 yards. So this is more than just a play calling issue. Whenever I'm trying to figure out where I'm pointing to first, I'm pointing to the offensive line, which has been a disaster. And Levis is sacked 7 times. He was only sacked 1 time in Miami, and only 8 times the previous 3 games combined. They weren't doing anything right, and that includes running the football, which was atrocious.
If you are talking to Jonathan Hutton, we've talked about this ad nauseum on the show today, Jonathan, about Mike Vrabel and his future, but if the Patriots come calling and you get the opportunity to call your shots and pick your GM and everything else, I mean, why we always have that saying, stay one step ahead of the jailer, right? If he comes back next year, he's got 1 more year. He goes to England, he's probably got 5 or 6 years to build and do whatever. Why would you come back?
Well, because he's under contract. I mean, that's why. I mean, it's up to Amy Adams-Strunk if Mike Vrabel wants to go to New England. Ultimately, I mean, and up to Robert Kraft. If Amy Adams-Strunk wants to keep Mike Vrabel, up to Robert Kraft to trade something that is going to make Amy change her mind. Vrabel would have to inform Amy Strunk of this, and then Amy Strunk would have to be so pissed off at Mike Vrabel that she's willing to trade him away to a Hall of Fame owner who wants to hire your coach. So a lot of that would have to take place behind the scenes before we even get to the point where he's a lame duck coach going into a hot seat year. There's no doubt the seat's going to be hot next year.
Right.
But, I mean, Amy's got him under contract. I don't know why she would just fire him and allow him to walk straight to Foxborough, given the fact that the rumors have been there all season swirling, and no one seems to really stomp them out. And everyone points to it as a Boston headline. I don't hear Mike Vrabel saying very much else about it. So if you want to stomp it out, just say you're the coach of the Tennessee Titans and you don't want to be the coach of the Patriots. But he can't. There's nothing else he needs to say, Joe, because he's under contract here, and Amy would have to fire him for him to be able to go there.
I just think Robert Kraft would give up the world to have Mike Vrabel up there and would pay. His ego so big, we talked about this, that he would pay anything. We look forward, with these last 3 games, but also in the 2024. I mean, what's here to build upon? I mean, I know free agency can do a lot of things, but currently, I mean, this the core guys you've got under contract. What's here to build upon? I'm having a tough time seeing that.
It's going to be it's an overhaul. It's a big rebuild that's coming, and if you circle back to where we were in the offseason and consider what we were saying about the AFC, and look at the 8-6 teams right now in the AFC. The American Football Conference was there for the taking. It really was. For a playoff trip, it was there. And this is a Titans team that needs to start up front, Joe. I mean, that's how you get better. That's how you run the football. That's how you win games. And that's how you have production on all 3 downs. The offense up front is so bad that the storyline is really about 2nd and 3rd down. I know the thinking around the Titans' first down play calling has been questionable. After the game yesterday, fans complaining about the Titans and that they did the same thing all season long on first down, which is just run Henry on first down for no success. Now, surface level, it would appear as though they have nothing else on offense but to go with that and predictability. But that's not the right reason to be complaining, because on first down, they've been the 4th best offense on first down yardage all season. And the issues have been on 2nd and 3rd down. And the Titans have also been balanced on offense. Week 15 was their single worst first down game of the season. 66% of the time is when they ran the football, 17 for 12 yards. Levis was 4 for 6 for 22 yards and a sack. I mean, it was awful. And to me, whether or not the run game is going to be effective or not just goes back to the offensive line. They've got to overhaul the offensive line yet again. Complaining about John Robinson's depth and then signing a backup center that John Robinson brought in, to me, is a head scratcher. That's just nonsensical. And bringing in Dillard, which was atrocious, looking across that offensive front and thinking what they have to build around, they miss Ben Jones so much in a massive way. Everyone's pointed at offensive tackle, and rightfully so. They need to flip some positions on the interior as well. And Joe, that's where it starts. It's not a quick fix, but you can be much more competitive and score more points doing this by going up front first.
100%. And look, the defense too. What do you think happened with Teair Tart for them to release him mid-season? Obviously, they could have used him yesterday, but it felt like that they were not on the same page.
Teair Tart needs to have the same page. He was just always in the training room, or it seemed like he was pouting behind the scenes. That's the perception I had. And he's the tweet or the post about asking for his release seems a bit different than maybe the tone that came out at the end of last week with how he wasn't a part of the roster. So I want to know what really happened there. But Teair Tart's a rotational player. Teair Tart was brought up, by the way, by Vrabel in the offseason, where he finished the season last year strong. And Vrabel mentioned guys like Teair Tart need an offseason to where they know that even though they're playing well, there is another level to take their game. They cannot get complacent in free agency, come back to the roster, and be the same guy you were in December of last year. That was Teair Tart. He leveled off, and he wasn't the guy that was stepping in whenever they needed someone to step up.
Going to be an interesting last few weeks, that is for sure. Hut, appreciate it as always. We're off next Monday, so Merry Christmas to you, and we will talk some point next week.
You mean Joe Dubin isn't your Bob Cratchit right now? He's not going to be working next Monday?
No, he's not. He's not. I am not going to make him work next Monday.
Thank you for that.
God bless us, everyone.
There you go.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Hut. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Jonathan Hutton from Outkick, Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow, weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan. We will wrap things up, give you your chance to win Kenny Chesney tickets plus celebrity birthdays next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Kenny Chesney coming to Nissan Stadium this August, and we have your opportunity to win tickets to see Kenny Chesney as a part of our countdown to Christmas. He'll be there with Zach Brown Band, special guests Megan Maroney and Uncle Cracker. Nissan Stadium.
Getting upset over that song. That song always gets chaser in the fields.
August 3rd. Plus, you can be qualified to win a $250 Electronic Express gift card.
Express.
You must text in the answer to this question, 615-737-1025. Text. Do not call. Text the answer to this question. What is it, Joe?
So, Kenny Chesney always wears the jersey number 7. Who is his inspiration for wearing the jersey number 7? If you know, you know. Why does he wear number 7? And the inspiration behind that.
First person to text that 615-737-1025.
Kenny
will
is
win
listening.
the tickets.
Kenny's listening. So Kenny, you're not available. You can't. You silly goose.
I
You
think
can't
he's going to
call
be
in.
there. He's going to be there.
You can't call in.
Kenny's
You're
a big fan of the show, though.
huge fan of the show.
So yeah, I think that's a good concert. So I saw Kenny Chesney at Nissan Stadium probably 15 years ago, and it was Keith Urban was one of the openers. He was a special guest, but he had like 3 or 4 other openers. One of them was Sammy Hagar, and it was awesome.
Oh,
it
that'd
was
be
so
cool.
awesome. That was my favorite part of that show. I took my mom.
What'd they sing? What did he sing? Can't Drive 55?
He did everything. He did Moss Tequila. He did the Van Halen
Oh,
stuff.
so he was not like, hey, a special guest. He was part of the show.
He was part of the show. Yeah, he opened.
okay.
He opened. Like
Oh, I
he
did not
was
know
one of the.
that.
It was Leanne Rimes, Sammy Hagar. I think there was one more, and then Keith Urban, and then Kenny Chesney.
Nice.
So it was like an all-day thing. It was very cool.
That's
so
very cool.
Good luck to you texting in on that to win those tickets. That will be a good show.
Yes, and Kenny, we know your number, so if you call in, we got you, buddy.
Yeah, we got you. That is for sure. So text that in now. With that, let's get to celebrity birthdays.
Yeah.
Presented by Zach Pillar and his new Instagram account. Follow Zach on IG at Zach Pillar Design 69 and step into his world.
All right, first birthday today for celebrity birthdays is, here we go, guys, Keith Richards. How old is Keith Richards today?
Keith, ooh, that's a good one. 80.
85.
80 years old exactly.
Boom.
Good job. Chase out of the gate. Steven Spielberg. How old is Steven Spielberg today? Favorite Steven Spielberg movie?
E.T.
Pretty good. All right, Close Encounters kicked ass.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean,
It's hard.
he
Schindler's
did
List,
Indiana Jones too, right?
Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
all those.
Steven Spielberg, 77.
71.
77.
I swear I'm not cheating.
He's on a heater today, fellas.
2-0.
I just know.
The worst actor of all time, Brad Pitt. He is an awful actor, but he's handsome. That's all that matters. How old's Brad Pitt?
58.
Brad Pitt is 54.
60.
Really?
Chaser on a killing it. 3-0
It's that
right
plastic
now.
surgery show now.
Tom
Oh, yeah.
Cruise's ex-wife, Katie Holmes. They're married for
They
for a
split
bit.
up?
Yeah, long time ago. Long time ago.
I can't imagine why. Let's see. Katie Holmes. 41.
Katie Holmes, we're going to go a little higher. We're going to go 46.
45.
Nice.
Dr. Crane's on the board. 3-1 Chaser right now. We got some good birthdays today. Let's see, who is this? Oh, Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera. I'm going to say she is 40.
I'm going to go a little higher. We'll go 43.
43 exactly.
Nice.
All right.
Dr. Crane's back in the game. 3-2 Chaser right now. We got another good birthday. Billie Eilish.
22.
Billie Eilish, we're going to go 24.
22 exactly. Chaser's at 4-2. You guys are killing it today. Movie critic Leonard Maltin.
62.
Still a thing. I didn't know that. We're going to go 75.
73.
Nice.
What a game. You guys haven't missed one yet. 4-3 now. Comedian Ron White. Chase, can you tell us some Ron White jokes while we're on the air?
Not on the air. I was thrown out of a bar in New York City. Tater salad is 63.
68.
67. We are
wow.
tied at 4. You guys haven't missed yet. Chase, you got to get this one. If you don't get this one, then I don't think you exist. Stone Cold Steve Austin's birthday.
Oh, hell yeah. Stone Cold 52.
I'm going to get a hell yeah. We're going to go a little like 54 action.
59.
Oh,
Really? He's almost 60?
Both you guys, Tara, we should be disappointed in that. Chaser, one of your best friends, Cowboy Troy.
Troy Hansen?
Oh, man, Cowboy Troy.
That was an inside joke. Cowboy Troy.
It's 4-4.
49.
Cowboy Troy, 53.
53 exactly. Dr.
Nice.
Crane's up 5-4. We're not done yet. Hold on, we got
This is a good one. This is a heavyweight bout right
We got a
here.
few more here. Let's see here. Oh man, country singer Randy Houser.
44.
He's got the beard. I'm gonna go 51.
47. Singer Sia. S-I-A. Is that how you say her name? Sia? Like Sia.
See you later.
Yeah, right? Sia.
28.
See ya later. 27.
48. All right, last one. Here we go. He's in the best movie of all time, Starship Troopers. Actor Casper Van Dien. He was also on 90210 and Melrose Place and those, but he's a lead actor in Starship Troopers,
That
which
is a
if you've
bad
never
movie.
seen, it's so awful that I watch every second of it. Here you go, Chase. It's 5-4. You got to get this to tie.
58.
Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna go 64.
51. Dr. Crane, you are
Wow.
the Monday night version of the Tennessee Titans.
Love it.
Down 3-0. You rally back and win 5-4.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know,
Let's go to my post-game press conference. Look, we're on to Tuesday.
Well, you just answered your own question.
Just on to Tuesday.
Also, it's also the birthday of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. What's he famous for, Dr. Crane?
Archduke?
Yep.
Somewhere out in the UK. Gotta be, baby.
No, sir. He was assassinated and started World War I.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you not take history over at your little rich private school?
Whoa, easy. Easy. Didn't come from that. Slow down there, sir.
Also, Ty Cobb's birthday.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, that was good. That was a good one.
Proud of you, Dr.
Congratulations,
Crane.
Dr. Crane.
Thank
More
you, gentlemen.
Titans reaction coming up throughout the day. Obviously, Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace will have that. Mike Vrabel to speak at noon.
And don't you have the Ian Rappaport report earlier from Will Levis?
Yes, Levis looks like a ankle sprain. So
High ankle sprain.
Yeah, so we'll see if we learn more on that. If it's a high ankle sprain, he's not playing this week.
He's not. Not at all.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's what it is, so
That's what it could be.
UNC 17.
That's right. As we leave you every show to our guys out there, look, we know it's a tough time, the holiday season. There's a lot going on. If you need to talk to somebody, grab that cell phone, dial 988. 988. Somebody's always there to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, you know where to reach me on all the socials. Look, as we say every single day, our world is a better place because you are here. Know that you are so loved. Know that.
Amen to that. Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.